when it abandoned democracy by canceling the primary to conceal the cognitive decline of the sitting president.
Oh, we seem to have lost RFK Jr. there. So make yourself a nice cup of tea or coffee, and in the meantime, here's some light jazz. And I'm told we can now return to the studio for RFK's speech.
And now, to throw my support to President Trump.
Nope, still having some technical problems there, so probably best to forget that speech ever happened.
Ooh, boy, is the copium at an all-time high. Mainstream media working overtime over the weekend to try and cancel out an endorsement of Donald Trump by Ron F. Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy Jr., Hollywood melting down, CNN melting down, Kamala Harris team melting down. Look, I don't want to overstate it. I think that, some percentage of RFK's voting base will vote Trump, and I think an even larger percentage of them will simply abstain from voting. Probably good. Like, the people that were probably leaning Trump will be motivated to vote Trump or more accepting of Trump, and the RFK voters that were leaning towards Kamala may just decide, hey, I'm not going to vote at all. Very strategic. So strategic that the powers that be have now retaliated against RFK and removed his Secret Service detail. Of course, one might argue, it's because, he was running for president. Now he's not, but he's not officially. He's just suspending his campaign. They're doing that to punish him. Make no mistake about it. You have VP Harris gun grabbing. Great to see. Love to see her say this stuff out loud. It will just mobilize. There are a lot of 2A people out there who aren't necessarily Republican or Democrat. The Kamala Harris website still has no policies that they're running on. And quite frankly, this is obviously going to be what they try to do. They're already trying to now worm out of the debates because they know that every time she opens her mouth and something goes out instead of coming in, things go poorly. Okay. And ultimately, you have a candidate here that is deeply unlikable. You can even see Dr. Jill Stein writing, we may disagree with RFK about many things, but he's right about how the Democratic Party uses lawfare and dirty tricks to suppress Democratic competition and voter choice. The Dems preach about saving democracy, but in reality, they're working overtime to stamp it out. CNN having a meltdown, cutting the feed during RFK's historic speech. You see breaking. CNN and MSNBC both cut away from the RFK endorsement. They are panicking. Well, yeah. I mean, now, to be fair, were they going to carry the entire 30-minute speech? Probably not. I guess you could be happy that they carried any of it at all, because there may be some RFK voters that watch those networks. By and large, if you watch CNN or MSNBC, you're a Kamala Harris drone. If you watch Fox News or read any real news, like on, YouTube, Rumble, X, you're probably a Trump supporter. There's very, very, very few undecided voters right now. It's not like we have two brand new candidates. We basically have Donald Trump versus anybody else. But the progressives are coming around, and this has to terrify Kamala Harris. Jimmy Dore tweeting, Trump is now way to the left of warmongering Kamala. He's campaigning as anti-war, anti-censorship, anti-mandate, anti-deep state. Now with RFK, Trump is against big agriculture, the corruption of the FDA, plus his idea on not taxing tipped wages. And it's very, very, very easy to be the left of neocon warmongering Kamala Harris. They are trying desperately to smear RFK, and you see, again, as he was going after Kamala Harris, CNN cuts away.
Over ideas. They would be astonished to learn of a Democratic Party presidential nominee who, like Vice President Harris, has not appeared in a single interview or an unscripted encounter with voters for 35
We've been
days.
listening to independent candidate Robert F.
Just, I mean, the establishment panic is, I mean, now like, oh, RFK sold me some blow 40 years ago. So? Literally so? So? Listen to what Jimmy Dore has to say. Again, Jimmy Dore is no fan of the Democrats, okay? But just a little, I'm not going to play the whole clip here.
This is amazing what's happening here. So this is amazing. They got a Kennedy. That the Democratic Party is so corrupt. The Democratic Party is so fascistic, so anti-democratic that they got Bobby Kennedy to endorse a Republican for president. That's how bad the Democratic Party is. And they're in collusion with the corporate media. The Democratic Party is the establishment party now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in bed with the media. And the media is covering for them. They told you Joe Biden was fine up until 5 minutes ago. They all lied to you. The media, I mean. Oh, cheap fakes and this. You guys are conspiracy theorists. CNN is the liars. CNN is the conspiracy theorists. CNN are the evil. The MSNBC, the ABC News, the Washington Post, the New York Times. They're evil. And they're bought by the people who don't give a shit about you. Party, but it ain't. Starting wars.
Here, this part
What
too.
are you saying? Certainly. I do.
Wait, this part here.
Well, at least they're saying it. First of all, I trust. I
Somebody's
certainly
on the
trust.
phone.
The people are saying, "Can you trust what they're saying?" I trust Bobby Kennedy. What he's saying. Certainly, I do. Trump didn't start any wars. He's the only president that didn't start any wars.
That's a fact.
So and the deep state tried to kill him. So I made that point on Benny Johnson's show last night. You say what you want. They're not trying to kill Joe Biden. They're not trying to kill Kamala Harris. They are trying to kill Trump. And why is that? Because Trump has the naive idea that the president should control the intelligence community and the president should control the oh, hi, baby. And the president should control the military. That's what Trump thinks. So then you realize that no president has controlled the military since JFK. None of them. And Trump thought the president should. And that's why they're trying to kill him. So you can't deny that. So it's not about falling for. What do you mean fall? I just saw a stadium full of Republicans cheering for environmental policy, cheering for freedom of speech, cheering for ending wars. Are you going to fall for that? You think all the people in that crowd are lying? You don't think they're genuinely enthusiastic? Because they are. So that's a populist message. And if I had more time, I would go to show you the video that.
Again, I think that he goes on to talk about how Glenn Greenwald's video about how Trump Republicans are different than establishment Republicans. And I think that that's a fair criticism because, I'm a Trump guy. I'm not a Republican. Hopefully Trump wins this fall and saves us for another 4 years from communist rule. After that election, who's running for Republicans? I don't know, right? If it's some neocon, some rhino, I'm not voting for them. I am not a red till I'm dead kind of guy. And I think that if you are, that's poor, just as bad as being blue no matter who. And there's a big difference. They tried to put a stigma on being a Trump supporter, the media did, by calling us all sorts of things, right? You don't like brown people, you do this, that, and the blah, 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 blah. It's all nonsense. It was meant to stigmatize. An opponent, supporting opponent that they feared. Here you have Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom makes underhanded dig at Kamala Harris when asked about DNC nominating process. I mean, he said, quote, "I don't even have words in me." On Friday, clip of Gavin Newsom, who thought to harbor presidential ambitions of his own, provoked the ire of people across social media. Journalist Glenn Greenwald uploaded the clip to X and offered a brutal take on Newsom's demeanor. Where's the clip here? Let me see if I can find the clip. Essentially, he says, Here you go. After being asked about the switch by the host of the podcast, Newsom laughed. We went through a very open process, very inclusive process. He seemed to joke. It was bottom up. I don't know if you knew that. That's what I've been told to say, he added. Later in the clip, Newsom chuckled that the Democrats held a 30-minute convention between the moment Biden tweeted that he was leaving the race and that the moment they tweeted that he had endorsed Harris. It's been amazing, Newsom said before pivoting to changing his tune. What's amazing is how unified everyone is, he said solemnly. He's salty. He's salty. Andrew Yang out here trying to run defense, getting brutally ratioed. The machine is panicking. They trot out Elizabeth Warren to try and talk about price gouging. She doesn't understand how that works. This is CNN calling RFK Jr. endorsing Trump huge on CNN.
Today, RFK Jr. had suspended.
Like on CNN themselves.
Him in his administration. Show Kennedy with 5 or 6.
I can't because I can't trust their music. But anyway, CNN acknowledged it. CNN is full attack mode today, bringing on nasty people to throw insults at RFK. One of the tackiest things I've seen in politics, a very low bar. Kamala Harris, rightly so, didn't even give him the time of day. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I don't think it's great that your political candidate won't talk to anybody. His family spurging out, having meltdowns, getting rightfully pummeled with comments. Charlie Kirk, the personal attacks leveled at RFK Jr. RFK on CNN this morning are not only discussing, but they're Exhibit A of why he left the party in the first place. They want to make an example out of him to suppress any future dissent, agree with us or else. I mean, yeah. And now they're trying to get out of the debate. She's trying to worm out of the debate. And the mainstream media, which is just an extension of the Harris campaign, Harris Walls campaign. How many dogs has Tim Walz tweeted out and said that their name was Scout, by the way? They look pretty different. Anyway, now they're trying to say, oh, well, Trump's trying to get out of the debate. Trump suggests he might skip ABC debate with Harris. You know why that is? It's because they had already, the Harris campaign has now tried to change the rules of the debate in terms of microphone muting. Nobody's telling you that. The Washington Post isn't saying that. CNN isn't saying that. Now, they're saying Trump's trying to get out of it. No, Kamala Harris is trying to change it because they saw how good it worked, how badly it backfired. So essentially, the first debate with Joe Biden, they had the microphone muting thing. So that meant Trump had to keep his answers short, concise, and complete his thoughts. And he absolutely buried Joe Biden. Now they want to change the rules again to leave the microphones on. Obviously, the reason is they're hoping that Trump will go unhinged mode and he'll have an issue or he'll overtalk her. They want him to hurt his own presidential chances now by changing the microphone because it had backfired. That's really what they're trying to do. They saw what prepared, short, punchy answers that Donald Trump delivered because of the microphone muting the first time. It literally knocked Joe Biden out of the race. Now they're like, well, actually, we actually want to leave them on now. Why do you think that is? ABC debate was already officially agreed upon earlier this month. Trump has repeatedly called for a revised setting, including a full arena audience. Debate hosted by Fox News, which he should have. By the way. And I think, unfortunately, the Democrats are in the position of power here because if Kamala Harris doesn't have to debate, and she's got 47% of the vote. Kamala Harris doesn't have to debate. Make no mistake about it. Kamala Harris does not have to debate, and she will win the popular election. Probably. Trump needs to debate. So now they're trying to change the rules and this and that. It's now been almost 40 days since this woman talked to anybody unscripted. They're hiding her because she's perhaps the worst possible candidate in history. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.